Hi guys, hello everyone. Welcome to the third umpire. I'm Ali and I'm joined by Ali, and we're going to be talking about Pakistan versus South Africa and the second ODI. So, what do you think about what happened and just a quick summary of the match?
So overall, I'm pretty disappointed. I know people are happier than they should be after a loss because of Fakhar's innings, but for me, that doesn't cover anything up. After we won the first ODI, I was still not very happy because I saw all the holes in this team, and I had a feeling that we might struggle in the second game, and they were. I had a feeling they weren't gonna change anything up, and they didn't, and we lost.
Are you happy with the toss selection though?
So I this is a longer topic, but I feel like Pakistan shouldn't win the toss and bowl first. I know it's a popular thing these days, especially in ODIs, because you have teams like England doing it, teams like Australia. Well, England and India do it because they have strong batting lineups, right? I don't think we should opt to bowl first because we cannot trust our batting lineup. We don't have the same quality and depth that those teams have. So I feel like if we win the toss, we should always bat first and like aim for even a decent target because then we'll have a chance. Because if not for Fakhar's innings today, we would have gotten absolutely destroyed. Like it was only even a little close, if you want to call it that, because of his innings. So yeah, overall, I don't think we should ever bowl first.
Team selection?
Very disappointed in the team selection. I mentioned after the first ODI, this was off to you privately, that the middle order, this is like probably, I think this middle order that we played yesterday is the weakest middle order in our history. So you have Danish Aziz at 5, you have Shadab Khan at 6, and you have Asif Ali at 7. That's an extremely weak middle order in my opinion. Like, how can you send, like, we can get into details about it later, but overall, yeah, I think it's
So
quite
you
weak.
suggest we should have signed Haider Ali
I
as a
suggest we should have played. I'm surprised Heather Ali isn't a permanent part of this squad. So, young batsman, probably the most talented young batsman in the country, coming off a really strong PSL, and yeah, he hasn't really, apart from that 150 against England, he hasn't really done much in international cricket. But
One thing, sorry for interrupting you. One thing
yeah,
I
no
like
worries.
about Heather is that he's fearless. He's fearless, and yesterday when you saw Asif, when you watch him in leagues, as I mentioned before to you, he doesn't have that, I don't know. When I watch him internationally, he seems scared. He seems. I feel like they're playing for their spot in the team. They're not playing. Have you heard that before? They're playing for the spot in the team. Whereas if you look at Heather, if you look at Barber, if you they know they're gonna be in the team later on. They don't have that fear. You know what I'm trying to say.
I
So he's playing with passion. He doesn't have that fear. And then going back to your point about the team selection, besides Heather, what else could we have done?
So one thing, just on that same point again, I think that while fearlessness is a thing and important, I feel like skill is more important. And I don't think Asif Ali has the skill to do much in international cricket, if I'm being frank. Compared to Heather, I feel like he can do well against good bowlers, score against good bowlers. He's a more dynamic, better batsman at a younger age, so he has a much higher ceiling. So apart from fearlessness, I think that's important. And the rest of the team selection, I don't. Shadab is the vice captain of our team, but I don't see what he brings to the team
And
personally.
he recently got injured, with the North
Yeah, I heard in the
Yorker,
morning.
and he's gonna be out for the South Africa
Mhm.
and Zimbabwe series. Any thoughts on that?
So of course it's always bad when a player gets injured, right? But for me it is a blessing in disguise because I don't see his role in this team at all. He doesn't ever look like he's gonna take a wicket. He doesn't contain any runs, anything at all. Like, he's so easy to milk. And in the batting, what is he? Is he a hitter? He's not good enough to bat in the top order. He's not good enough to finish the innings.
So what
So
I
what's
what
his
I feel
role?
is our team is missing that sense of clarity, as I mentioned earlier. Let's go to Shadab's bowling, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So we bowl first. With Shadab, if you look at his action, if you observe it, I feel there's a lot of there's the shift of momentum is not the way it should be. It's difficult to generate consistency with that action. I feel he's putting too much pressure on his back foot. If you look at his action, But if you observe Usman Kader, if you observe Shane Warne, if you observe any proper leg spinner, they go into the ball with that momentum. But Shadab Khan is stopping right before. So is it easy for him to generate that consistency when he's bowling? Some balls are going to be good, but it's just going to be inconsistent. You don't know. It's sort of like a negative mentality to when he goes into. If you should observe that when he goes into bowl. It's different when he has that confidence. Of course, when you're getting hit left, right, and center, it's different. But I feel it was different for him to generate that it's difficult for him to generate that consistency. So he does need to work on that action. Yes, you can argue he's an all-rounder, so he has so much on his head already. And he's the best fielder in our side. That's why I still think Shadab Khan, he sets the mentality for everyone else to watch him. In terms of fielding. So yeah, in that sense, I don't know. I sort of feel Shadab should still be in our team. He sets the benchmark for fielding, but definitely he should not be given every match. He should be given, let's say, he should definitely be dropped, once or twice.
Yeah.
But in the long term future for the team, he does give a very positive approach when it comes to being a three-dimensional player or someone that can field. Because let's be honest, Ali, ever since Mickey Arthur left, I haven't really seen that fielding importance or strain given to our team. That it's not the core thing about our team anymore. If you look at back in the day when Mickey Arthur was there, he was strict on fitness, fielding. Look at Fakhar Zaman. We're going to talk about the hot topic later on, but look at his stamina. Look at how long he stayed on the crease, running, hitting sixes, staying. That requires fitness, And we can argue whatever we want on talent, but I think fitness is a huge thing. What do you think about that?
I agree with you, of course. It's 2021, fitness, fielding, athleticism, all of that is important. But core skills are what, in my opinion, what gets you in the team. If I was looking at some stats of Shadab the other day, and he hasn't taken a single wicket in his last 5 games. The whole point of having a leg spinner in your side over a finger spinner is the wicket-taking ability, right? So we know leg spinners can be inconsistent. We know they don't provide the same control, but Shadab doesn't provide control and he doesn't take any wickets.
Yeah.
So at that point, why not just have a regular finger spinner in your side?
Yeah,
who
we
can
saw.
what do you think of Imad Wasim being dropped?
I mean, let's
What do you think
just.
of that?
I'll come back to that. But what do you think about Danish? I mean, I saw him bowl yesterday. He wasn't that bad.
The reason, that's what I'm saying.
He
the
wasn't that
reason
bad.
he wasn't
And you looked
bad-
at Markram also didn't bowl that bad. So I think when they were really similar. I mean, I was sort of reminiscent of Markram when I was watching Danish Ali. What
Aziz.
I feel, Danish Aziz, right? What I feel about that the off spinner is that he has a lot of value to be added.
in limited overs
Especially on that pitch, because I did not see the ball spinning that much.
Yeah, no.
On that pitch, I feel the off spinner is key, But on another pitch, obviously, Tabraiz Shamsi would have destroyed us as he did in Pakistan when we played. But yeah, what do you think about Usman Kader? You think he should have had? I think he should have had
So one thing,
go.
the reason
I think he's going to be played next match.
I-
He should be given a chance.
I think he will, but the reason I feel like Markram and Danish stood out, even though they're not like regular bowlers, they're part-timers. But the reason they looked good was because you had Shadab bowling in the same game, and he was so bad that even a decent bowler who can pitch the ball in the right area and provide some control started looking good. None of these guys are proper spinners.
After watching Shadab getting hit for 4 sixes in the PSL, right?
Yeah.
Who was it against?
I don't remember.
It was.
I honestly don't remember, but he hasn't been bowling well. Shadab hasn't done anything with ball or bat since the 2018 Asia Cup.
When I watch him bat, as I mentioned before about that, as you clearly spoke about, I don't understand. Is he being a hitter? Is he playing proper cricket? Sometimes he plays beautiful cover drives. He plays proper shots, but I think he's not clear about what he wants to do. I saw this with Hafiz long time ago. He has a lot of power. He can smack it. He had a lot of technique. I'm talking back in the day.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not getting any younger. He chose that power is going to be his base. He started playing golf, as you mentioned. That adds a lot to your game. It adds a lot to your arc. It adds a lot, your swing. He chose this to be his base, and now everyone talks about Hafiz being a power hitter. Whereas if you look at before, he was never like that. He was our number. He would come at 1 down,
Even
and
open.
that's right.
Open.
Yeah, he would open, come at 1 down, and his game was playing classical or proper cricket.
Of course.
So the player has to change his game according to the demands of cricket, basically.
Right.
If you look at Shadab, I think currently our team, as you mentioned, we need that power hitter. We need that role that Asif Ali is known for, but he could not do it. Most recently he hasn't been able to do it. Danish
Ever.
Aziz, we spoke about. Yeah, I understand you, but Danish Aziz, I feel it was really, as the
He
commentators
looked out
also
of it. The
mentioned,
commentators mentioned straight up.
it was
He doesn't look the
difficult. It's
part.
difficult for
He doesn't look the part.
It's difficult to bring a debutant to South Africa on those difficult pitches. It's bouncy. It's difficult to ask him to give you his. I mean, he bowled. I mean, I don't mind his bowling. I mean, I think he was economical.
Yeah, but
And that it's all about defensive bowling at that stage. And the way he did it, I think he should have been given another. Remember when Shadab bowled towards the end?
yeah, and you got
I think he should have been given another over because they stopped him from bowling. Danish. What I think is Danish should be given a chance again. He should be chosen again if we play at home, and because I think you can't just judge him based on one performance in South Africa.
Sure, but the thing about Danish is, this is a separate topic, but if you look at he has barely any experience in domestic cricket. So what is he being selected? When you select someone...
Played quite well for Sindh though. Recently.
Yeah, but
Playing quite well.
But he's still, again, he doesn't have much experience. So if you select someone based on like barely any experience in domestic cricket, it's when you see something very special in them, right? And in these two games, let's be honest, we haven't seen anything special in
Bro, I mean, getting back to that, I mean,
It's
he's a
South
debutant.
Africa, of
He's
course.
So you have to give him time. We have to give. Okay. Do you think we should play him in the third ODI? He's had 2 games. He's seen the pitches. He's seen the training. I mean, do you think he should be given that third game? I would still gamble and I would pick him.
If it's a choice between him and Heather Ali...
Oh, Heather is going to take Asif's place. Both of us know that.
Of course.
Right? I mean,
yeah,
in the event that doesn't happen, right?
He should be given a third.
Because
ODI.
let's be
He's
honest,
young.
as you mentioned privately to me earlier, Asif is not getting any younger. You've spoken pretty openly about that.
Yeah.
And if it's a time, we might as well pick Danish again because he does offer that.
Sure.
He does
I agree
offer
with
that.
you.
The main reason being that
Agree with
off-spin option that we had, which was pretty economical if you compare it to Shadab later on, right? Let's move on to the game now. I mean, let's focus more on the events of the game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about? Nortje?
He's
a class act. He's a class act.
He really bothered us. I mean, I don't know if that's down to, sometimes we let any random bowler just get in our heads.
Yeah.
That's a characteristic
Reminiscent of
our
Jamieson
team.
versus New
But
Zealand. What a bowler.
He
Pace.
looks good. He looks quite good.
And he's going to go to the IPL now, and we wish him the best of
Yeah.
luck. And I really want to see him do the same on Indian pitches because he came to Pakistan, he picked up a fifer, right?
Yeah.
So he does have the potential within him. Because you saw Angiri came to Pakistan, he didn't really do much, right? These guys came, but Nortje came and picked up a fifer, and he was, instrumental. So I want to see him do well. And now these big players are leaving. De Kock is leaving,
Yeah.
Rabada, Nortje. Who else? Angiri.
Yeah.
And there's a fifth
There's
one.
more.
Anyways, so these guys are leaving.
Yeah.
Next game, South Africa is going to have a selection dilemma. Who they're going to pick? Who they're going to...
Some new players, I'm
right?
pretty sure.
We saw some of them against
Yeah.
like Sipamla, I think. I don't
Yeah,
know
those-
who's
yeah.
coming in.
Yep.
So it's going to be good for us as well, Junior. Yeah, it's going to be good for us as well because we're going to have that sense of relief that we're not going to face Nortje again. But there's no
Yeah.
sense of complacency for us.
There isn't really, like, this
So-
is Pakistan. We act like when we say that, the third ODI is South Africa's C team or whatever, B team.
Remember
We
when Sri
act like
Lanka
our
sent
team
their...
is some like elite level team.
Yeah, remember when
with-
Sri Lanka sent their C team to face us?
Yeah.
And we got destroyed 3-0 in the
Especially
T20?
considering it's a 1-1 series tie. Our team, in those pressure situations historically, especially recently, isn't the best in those series deciders, right?
Fakhar Zaman. Let's start.
Yeah.
Fakhar Zaman.
Well, I mean, what else is there to say that hasn't been
Just
said,
2 words,
right?
Fakhar Zaman. That's
Yeah.
it. That's where we leave it, man. The passion that I saw in him, I feel it's more of a mental game. It's a mental approach that you have because the people next to you are getting out.
Yeah.
Shaheen, Haris, everyone got out, right?
The batsman.
Right? Yeah. It's a mental game. Keeping that strength, keeping that stamina. As if we spoke about his fitness earlier, he's in the Navy. He just won some award recently as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a mental. It's all mentally. It just tells me how important it is, no matter how big the total. I saw his interview as well. Get those 10-20 balls in. Understand how the pitch is working. Understand the ins and outs, and that's when you can accelerate. I saw him batting fearlessly. Towards the end of the game, I was just like, wow. It was as if he was batting on a different pitch compared to other players themselves, right? What do you think about taking those 10, 20
So-
balls out and then just going on? Shadab tried doing that, by the way. Shadab tried. But
he
it's
doesn't
so-
have the
No, he wasn't able. I think he got out to that. He nicked it and it got out,
So-
right? And same with this one, Rizwan. He didn't even take those.
Rizwan didn't get set. To be
No,
fair,
no, I mean,
Rizwan didn't get
no, the
set.
same way he got out, he
Yeah.
nicked it, went out, you know. Danish Aziz, same thing. He tried to. Asif Ali again, tried to hit a nice 4, right? But I feel like Fakhar's innings was mentality. It was about the
my
mental
favorite
strength.
thing about Fakhar's innings was his reaction and his attitude after his innings. He was very disappointed. He was upset. He wasn't satisfied. That's something that is lacking in our players, right? This winning mentality. For him, it was all about the win. He didn't care after he got run out. He didn't care about his. I don't think he really even cared about his double hundred. I genuinely
absolutely.
love his attitude after he got out. This winning mentality. This I should have won this game for my team. I'm not satisfied despite the fact that I've scored the most runs in a single innings while chasing by anyone. He still wasn't satisfied, and I feel like that's needed. That's
Yeah, no doubt.
absolutely needed.
Let's-
What do you
let's-
think? Just to go back for a
Yeah,
second.
sure.
What do you think about dropping Imad? What do you really think? Do you think?
You asked me that before. I forgot to answer you.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
So the way I look at Imad Wasim, I think he's a champion player. I look at him as a champion. You know, whether if he's not going to get us over the line with his batting, it's going to be his bowling or it's going to be his mentality within the team. Me personally, I prefer him bowling in the opening overs. I don't really see him adding too much value in the middle because he doesn't have the new ball. He doesn't have the lacquer. He doesn't have that ability for the ball to drift away. So I prefer him bowling in the power play, in the opening power play. When it comes to batting, he does have that
He's a
charisma.
brain.
He has the brain. He's captain. He's been captain for Karachi for a while now. He went and played for Melbourne Renegades recently. You know, he's played all around the world. I think it's because no doubt he's gonna be in the T20 World Cup squad. So maybe I understand Wasim going with a different option because it feels like he was so sure that Imad was going to be in the team. I don't know if that's the approach he had. I don't think that should have been the
But
approach
if-
because we chose
Just
Babar
real
and we
quick,
chose.
real quick. Before, if that was the case,
Wait.
Wasim wouldn't have said in an interview that he doesn't think Imad is good enough. He said in an interview.
Yeah. So then so then
Which-
clearly it's not the case, right?
Yeah.
So I don't see Imad getting dropped for the world. I think he's the champion.
who knows, it's
That's just
Pakistan.
one word for him, champion. In that innings against Afghanistan,
Yeah.
right? We're not going to forget that. He's one of my favorite T20 bowlers.
He brings some kind of consistency to this team.
He brings the
ODIs as
energy
well.
and he brings I mean, for lack of a better word, he brings the bharam.
control.
He brings the bharam where he shows the opposition that this is Pakistan you're playing with. You know, this isn't some because we don't have aggression. As I spoke to you about in our last meeting, the only aggressive player we have on the pitch is Haris Rauf. Who do we have who's aggressive? No one. Haris Rauf, and that's only when he gets a wicket. When he doesn't have a wicket, he doesn't raise the aggression. Imad brings that aggression throughout. So does Hassan Ali. So I feel these two players are what we missed in terms of adding that fear within the opposition, or let them know that they're facing. You know, we were number one in T20 for what reason? You know, for those 2 years, it was because we had that consistency, no doubt. We had that captaincy, excellent captaincy by Sarfraz, but we also had that fear that other teams had when they faced us. You know, that mentality that we're gonna beat you, man. We're the best T20 team in the world. We're gonna come for you.
Yeah.
And we need that aggressiveness, which
I-
we don't have.
I
you
do
know, with
agree
Hasnain.
to an extent, but just taking out all this like aggression, mentality, all that, put that aside for a second. Purely in terms of the technical aspects of cricket, like in terms of skills, everything that Imad brings to the team. He brings control with the ball. He brings he doesn't go for runs. He'll go for like 50 in his 10 overs or like around that. He'll pick up one wicket, whatever. But with the bat, he's a proper finisher. He's not a hack who just, slogs, right? Like he has a brain while he's batting. near the
Sometimes
end.
it looks like he doesn't have a brain when he bats. Let's be frank about that. But yeah, when he's in pressure, the word I'm looking for is pressure. When he's under pressure, he's insane. When their team is doing well, I don't really see him. But yeah, under pressure, he's a champion,
Yeah.
and that's what Pakistan team is in most circumstances. So yeah, he's He's amazing. But I was disappointed when I saw
by
that he
our
wasn't
standards,
selected.
he walks into this team. He's like the fourth, fifth name on this team sheet.
He was having some physical fitness issues,
I
right?
don't
he was
think
having.
that's why he was dropped though, because
That's
they
not
would have
why,
said
but
that.
just generally,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have
What
Shaj.
really let him down?
T20 is a different topic though. Today we're talking about ODIs.
Sure, but I'm talking about ODIs too. I think he should be in the ODI team.
You're talking about the ODI team.
Yeah, he should be in the ODI team. That's what I've been saying. What does Shadab bring that Imad doesn't bring?
Shadab brings fielding consistency.
Forget about
No,
fielding.
wait. Let me just.
Yeah.
Shadab brings. You know, when I look at Shadab, as I mentioned before, he has the. When you give a leg spinner those 10 overs, you know, he has the ability. Most recently, he hasn't done it, but he does have that. When you look at Imad Wasim, you know, in the T20 power play, it's different than an ODI
I
because
get it, because you need to force a wicket in an
yeah,
ODI, right?
yeah. Well, ODI is completely different from
It
T20.
is.
I mean, T20, 100%. I like Imad. ODI maybe currently on this basis, Imam should make it, but I don't know. I haven't really thought of that one. What do you think about
definitely
ODI? Do you think he
be in
should
the
walk
he's a
into the
pro-
team?
Like in
Walk into the ODI
ODIs,
team.
his batting in ODIs is
I-
more
I-
valuable than his batting in
I really
T20s.
like Shoaib Malik.
In what?
I like him as a consistency.
Still talking about Malik though, like isn't he done?
Yeah, because what I feel with him is that I don't know based on his current form, but I still feel that Malik adds that composure to the team.
Yeah.
He adds that efficiency, if that's the word that I'm looking for. You know, look at his age. He's still such a dynamic
Level-headed
player. He might not give you the best performance ever, but what he's going to do is he's going to lift your team up, you know. He's the sort of player that we needed yesterday with Fakhar, you know.
Yeah.
He might not be in the best form, but he's a player that form doesn't define his selection.
If we're talking about
It's his
ODIs,
experience.
he's retired, right?
I mean, just generally.
Yeah.
That's a sort of mentality that you need to have, you know, when you have someone batting with Fakhar or you have someone coming on.
I agree
I was
with
so disappointed when I saw Rizwan. You know, imagine we had
can
one
give
more
him some
batsman.
leeway. Like
We can,
you
'cause he's
give him-
performed
He's been
yeah.
performing like
But-
not everyone is.
but
of course
yeah,
consistent, right?
and let's be frank, we were never going to win that game. I mean, we were never going to win it. I mean, Fakhar just turned the tables upside down, you
Yeah.
know. But the way he came, the passion that he showed, and you know the aggression that he showed, he actually made it, you know, very possible
Entertaining.
for
At
us.
least he made it entertaining.
And he made it possible for us. So let's move on to you know, to Bavuma. You know, he batted kind of well. I love his
There's
technique.
A lot of so this is a whole.
Let's talk
other
about that later
topic.
on. I just want to
Yeah.
talk about his performance.
Yeah.
I feel that he had a lot of consistency. He's not too tall. He's not too big, but he's a technical player. He plays
Yeah.
spin really well. And what I feel with Bavuma is that he's a good captain. I from the first game that I saw him, he's a good captain. He gets the troops behind him. He's and players want to play for him, right? What do you think about Bavuma? I like him more than Quinton. I like that he
Definitely.
Gets, Quinton
definitely.
wasn't.
De Kock
He
doesn't
didn't
seem
get the
like
players
he,
behind him. You know,
he
wasn't
seemed
that-
like he didn't care.
Yeah, for
That's
lack of
how
a
I
better
saw
term.
it. He seemed like he didn't care. Like behind the stumps, looking at your captain like that, what does that put in the minds of your players, right? Like our captain doesn't care. De Kock is not captaincy material, that's for sure. But Bavuma, yeah, he's more level-headed absolutely. But I still need to see his batting a little more because
He's new into ODI cricket. He's
Yeah.
new into the job.
he's
You know.
exactly.
Let's talk about the fun subject regarding the ball hitting his hat.
Oh yeah.
The 5 runs.
Um.
So the law does state that the 5 runs will be awarded if it hits an external object or it hits anything that's not part of. So the 5 runs, how do you think that should have worked? Should it have been reviewed, replayed? Because it was replayed, let's be honest, around 2-3 times. And the third
So one
umpire,
thing
anyone
I
could
need
catch
to-
it.
I
The
need to
third
ask you
umpire.
Is the rule only in play if the hat is on the head and it hits the hat or whatever, or does it matter
external.
if it falls from you and hits the hat on
Yeah,
the ground?
I'm-
Is the rule still applicable in that situation?
I'm not too sure about that, but what I know confirmed is that you've seen wicket keepers take their helmet off
yeah,
and put
if
on
it
the
hits
side.
I know if it
It's
hits
the helmet, it goes for
it's-
5.
yeah,
This was a similar situation. Why I feel it wasn't given was because it wasn't spotted by the umpires during
maybe.
that moment.
If it's part of the rules,
But those
then-
5 runs could have been crucial because when the batsman is going into the last over and he sees that he has to make 25 runs as opposed 26 runs or 25, depends as opposed to having that 30 runs. The batsman has that mental belief that, okay, it's not impossible. Whereas if someone sees 30 runs, as I spoke to you about last time, I see cricket as a consequence game. You know, it's like a domino effect. This leads to this, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So it's all about the mental game. You know, this event happens, so mentally it's not as straining on the mind as having to chase 30 in the last over.
Yeah.
So I feel that should have been given at least those 5 runs. I don't know about De Kock's, the way that
ambiguous. I feel
that's
like
unethical. That's
it is
unethical,
definitely.
but I don't know about it. Although Sherfane Rutherford, the West Indian player, he mentioned, according to ICC's law or something, that it's not allowed for a player to distract.
Just the one thing
while running out.
about the De Kock thing. So in the moment, I was quite angry at
But
that because of Fakhar's like 200 and the way he pointed at Fakhar after he got out. You know,
that was
like,
not too.
The one thing though, I feel like you cannot go after that in terms of you cannot give us the 5. Like you cannot technically say that was wrong. Because look at it from De Kock's point of view, right? Say he gets called in for an inquiry or the umpires question him. He could just say, I was telling the fielder to throw it at the bowler's end. And it's not my thing. It wasn't my plan that there's so many ways he can get out of it. It's too ambiguous. It's way too ambiguous.
Yeah, but the fact that he had his peers laughing with him, or he had that.
That's just.
I mean, and then the fact
like, that doesn't.
Whatever, he cannot make whatever argument he wants.
Exactly.
What I'm trying to basically say is, does it fall in line with the spirit of the game?
No, it doesn't. But that's such a whole other huge topic, right? Like, does the spirit of the game matter technically, or is winning the only thing that matters? It's an interesting discussion for sure. But then you have things like man-catting. You have so much stuff, right? Like, what is the spirit of the game?
What do you think about man-catting? I don't know how you pronounce it. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
I feel if the batsman is given a warning, look, you're crossing the crease.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the game is made for batsmen. You know, especially in recent times, the bigger bats. You see the
especially
size
limited
of the bats.
overs cricket.
The batsman, you know, he's taking unfair advantage of the bowler's limited to how many bouncers he can bowl. You know, compared to back in the day. So I feel that I feel that the rule should be that if the batsman is warned once for crossing the line and then he does it, I think it should be allowed.
Yeah.
But if it's done, you know, without that, I mean, it should still be allowed, but it's not ethical. It's not good to see, you know.
It's not good to see, but really, isn't the simplest solution to this the batsman should have his bat in the crease at all times before the bowler bowls the ball? Isn't that the simplest, like, solution to it all? Because
that's a good idea.
Because
I've never really thought of it like that.
Just have your bat in the crease and don't cry if you get man-catted. Of course, it's like not fun to see. Say it happens in a World Cup final, right? Like, what's the controversy? All that.
These type of rules and regulations, I think these take time to be instilled within a generation. Yeah. The new generation coming up, they could apply it.
Playing in street
but
cricket,
people
you
that
always want to run.
Not just that. People that have been playing for like 10, 15 years now, difficult for them to incorporate that in their mind.
Yeah.
So if they've been following something for 15 years,
cricket,
it is.
Right?
I mean, as people quickly adjusted to the whole saliva rule and not switching, you know, the caps, the hats, right? They're wearing them. So I guess people can adjust to that.
Thing. You're supposed to, forever, you're supposed to, at the non-striker's end, you are supposed to be in your crease, right? Like, that's just always been the thing. You're supposed to be in your crease. So,
So exactly. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah. So, what?
Overall, in the game, going into our third ODI.
Yeah.
Is it a good idea to? I mean, because we're not going to have the same opposition.
Changes for the third ODI.
Yeah, we're not going to have the same opposition. And we spoke about bringing Heather. I think about Usman Qadir.
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't want the players to look at, you know, same thing in football. In football, they have formations, right?
Yeah.
I heard a coach saying recently that the players shouldn't look at the formation change, which is going to end up being the result for success. That's not going to be the case. That shouldn't be the case. The players should look at bringing their own performance levels better. The players should look at bringing their own unity levels, or just combining better as a team, as the catalyst, or as the main reason for the result to be better. Similar to cricket, I feel the players shouldn't look at selection or a change in captain or a change in to be the
Let it
main,
affect their own
main
performance,
reason for the
right?
change in their performance or the change in the results. I think, and in the same way, I've had this discussion so many times. I feel that we keep saying that we need a power hitter, we need a Joss Butler, we need a Maxwell, but we can
have
keep
one. We have Asif Ali.
we have so many players. Not just that. I mean, you can take it with the humor, but I feel that our current players, you can instill that within them. Hafiz was never a hitter.
He
We
wasn't.
instilled
But
it within him.
I have one argument against
Wait, let me
that.
just
Yeah,
complete
sure,
that
sure.
first. We need to encourage our own players. We need to encourage our youth to become like that. And going back to yesterday's game, it reminded me of the World Cup. High scoring, every team getting above 300. There were times when Pakistan wasn't playing well at all, but we managed to cross the line and get above 300.
Yeah.
So every team has that, So yesterday it cleared, and the pitch was beautiful, the wondrous pitch. It was so good to see that the games were high scoring.
Hmm.
So when the team sees a high scoring game, the levels themselves, they adjust the levels themselves, and you clearly saw with Fakhar, he batted out of his skins yesterday. I mean, he just played so well.
I honestly think that any good. I don't think that was a high scoring game.
You're
I
talking
think
about the all rounder, right, or the hitter, right?
the what?
The finisher, the hitter. That's what you're
Yeah,
talking
no,
about,
but
right?
I'm just saying in general. I don't think that was a high scoring game. The second game, I think. In 2021, for an ODI on a flat wicket like that's completely normal. Small boundary, that's completely normal. Any good team, any good batting lineup like England, India, I think they would have chased that comfortably. Like if look at us for example, 2 batsmen stick around with Fakhar, we win that game. So that's what I'm saying. I think now that's pretty normal. That should be chaseable.
I really like
I would
the look
favor
of
the batting side.
I really like the look of Van der Dussen.
Yeah,
I think he's a quality player.
He has nerves.
He
of
reminds
steel.
me of Joss Butler a little
Yeah.
bit because of the power that he possesses. He has the height. He has the height. He has the long levers, and I mean, the problem I think what I see a lot in our society is we judge people based on one game. Only the previous game you and I were talking about should Fakhar maintain his position in the next game.
Yeah.
But I mentioned to you before, he was the top scorer of the national T20. He was amazing in the PSL. He was amazing in other performances. So it did warrant a selection for him. He did have that merit. But generally, when you look at in our culture, we see one guy performing just once really well. We remember that performance forever, and we'll always turn to that. Whereas if you look at England, if you look at other India,
Consistency.
it's all consistency.
Yeah.
Van der Dussen, he performed well. I think did he perform well.
He's been scoring runs for years in domestic
He's a good
cricket.
player.
Like
He's a good player.
years.
What do you have to say about
Like
him?
honestly though, with Van der Dussen, I genuinely think that if he's a little older now, but he still has a long sort of Mike Hussey type career in him. I think he can do that. But I think it's a shame that he wasn't played years ago. I feel like he would have scored a ton of runs in all formats.
Okay.
Nerves of steel.
So now we're approaching the last 10 minutes, I think, of our podcast.
Yeah.
So I just want to start the next section with you. And I know we've spoken about this a lot before, but give me your 11.
My 11?
We just have Abdullah Shafiq. We have Haider Ali. We have Usman Qadir. And there's another player that we have. Who's Sarfraz. These 4. Would you switch any of them? Simple.
So
I just think, okay, both of us agree on Haider Ali. Asif.
I'll
Haider for
just tell
Asif.
you my 11.
Yeah, but there's just 3 left, so you don't have to
Yeah.
go through the hassle.
But
I think Haider for Asif done. Right? Play Haider in the middle. I don't know about it's ODI. Maybe they want to play him up front. But besides that, Usman Qadir for Shadab. Shadab is injured now, so he has to come in, right? Unless they want to go for a bowler short. It depends on the next pitch. If it's a spinning track, it all depends on that, But Sarfraz, I don't think. Maybe they give him a match. I don't know.
yeah.
They might give
I
him.
just wish
I think they would have they would have put Sarfraz if we
They
would
won't
have
give
won
him
this
again.
game. If we would have won this game, I think it would have maybe warranted a selection since he's performed really well in the PSL as well, I think. No, I'm talking about keeper. I'm talking about wicket keeper role.
No,
right
they
now.
shouldn't change his one.
Anyways,
We lost. So
um,
I think ideally, I wouldn't want Shadab in the Shadab's not playing now anyway, right? But
I think Shadab's gonna come back and haunt you.
so the one change that I think if they don't make this change, I have no faith in. Like I already don't have faith in this management. But if they don't make this one change, Asif out, Heather in, then I don't know what to say. Like if you still don't do that, then
So you
I
feel
don't know
Danish
what to say.
should maintain his position in the team? Give him one more chance.
Game.
He's seen 2
Sure,
games.
like he's like it wouldn't be fair to drop him. Who would you drop him for? Like you don't have any all rounder in the side.
Yeah,
right? Like,
but
who would you drop him
we
for?
technically, I mean, what I feel is, yeah, that's a very good
Who
point.
would you drop him for?
What I feel is that they wouldn't look at the all-rounder thing; they'd look at the batting thing
Batting,
more.
then
They'd
you
give
can-
that more
But
importance.
Abdullah Shafiq is a top order player. I'm pretty sure.
Abdullah
he's a top
Shafiq,
order
what do you think
batsman.
about him? Do you think he should
I
get
haven't
a go?
seen him, but he seems like a composed.
I think Imam
player,
deserves
right?
another go. He's been an amazing. He played so well in that first game. And can you believe that? I mean, of late he was 11th in the ODI. I think he still is. But
Rankings?
he's 11th.
Imam?
Yeah, of late.
I'm
I was surprised when I saw it as well.
I wouldn't get.
So
guess.
he has a really high
He
average.
should play. He should play.
And
I think he's good enough for our standards. I definitely think so.
so do you have anything else to add?
No, just Asif out, please, and Heather in. And let's hope Heather plays well. Like I really, really rate Heather very highly.
Yeah, Heather, I seem like when I watch him, and I've seen people talk about him. I think he appears like a rash player sometimes, but he needs to work on giving it more. He has all the talent, So yeah, just on the final words, I think this is our first live podcast.
Yeah.
And what do you have to say? I think it's been a lot of fun.
Great experience. Yeah.
And
we're gonna keep this going.
We're gonna make an Instagram, so guys, please do
Instagram,
follow us.
YouTube, both
On YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah.
And I hope
Third
you guys,
Umpire Podcast on Instagram, the Third Umpire Podcast on YouTube.
That's only if you've made the Instagram yet. Have you made it?
I'll make it right after
That's
this.
what you said yesterday. But yeah, so make sure to give us a like and subscribe.
Follow
and
us.
follow.
And
If you
we're
like
gonna
watching
keep putting out
me-
content consistently.
What if they say they don't like to watch you? They just like to watch me.
Well, I think it
Should
would
I
be
make
the
a
other
private
way
channel?
around. I think it would be the other way around.
The
If
other
that
way-
happens,
if that
I think it would be
happens.
the other way around.
For sure, guys. So yeah, it's been amazing,
Yeah,
and see you guys
it's been
next time.
awesome. And